Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you tonight with the UFC 185 results. Tonight, the main event saw Anthony Pettis going up against Rafael dos Anjos in the lightweight championship fight. Tonight was a good night of fights. Honestly, I thought this night was going to be a little bit more dynamite with the big fights stacking this card. Roy Nelson versus Alistair Overeem, honestly, in my mind, was a little bit of a bore. And then you had Johnny Hendricks versus Matt Brown, which the fight didn't really go my way. Honestly, in my mind, it was a good night of fights, but when it comes down to it, I'm not really 100% sure if I got my $60 worth with UFC tonight. It just didn't seem like I never really got to that point where I was just really super excited in what I saw that was going down. But of course, in this main event, we saw Dos Anjos win the lightweight championship. Dos Anjos basically won this by just making this a ground and pound game, something that makes him one of the best fighters in UFC. It was a payoff for him winning the lightweight championship. Of course, he made the gamble to move from Rio de Janeiro just a few years ago. I think he's only been in the UFC for a couple of years. This win will bring his record inside of UFC to 13-5. This fight saw Anthony Pettis in a whole lot of trouble throughout, mainly the whole fight. He seemed like, the whole fight he was trying to get from behind, and he was never able to do it. Dos Santos basically was winning this fight with just kicks to the thigh. Which just weren't defended at all by Anthony Pettis. He kept on looking to set up that big right hand, but Dos Santos was just too strong with the takedowns. I believe he finished with 7 or 8 maybe takedowns to do it. Dos Santos winning the lightweight championship. The fight was good. It just wasn't great. Pettis, around the fourth, was pretty much fighting for his life. He got his first takedown of the night, which didn't really last long. It didn't really take Dos Santos that long to recover from being thrown down. He was down on the mat for maybe less than a second, and from there, he was able to reverse it to get right back in control of the fight. When at the end of the fourth, when they went into the corner, Pettis clearly told his corner man that he couldn't see anything out of his right eye, that it was too damaged. The corner guy basically was like, "It's all right. We know. Go out there and try and win the fight," because there's nothing they could do for him. Pettis, it looks like he had 8 takedowns on the night. No, I apologize. I wrote that wrong. Pettis was taken down 8 times on the night. Now Dos Santos is going to move on with his 4th win in a row, moving into 13-5 in UFC. Now the light heavyweight champion. Dos Santos won this fight the same way as he won the fight against Nick Diaz just a while ago, basically with the same strategy. Just I'm going to kick you in your legs, and you're going to take it the whole time, and that's pretty much going to wear you out. Late in the fight, Pettis was trying to go for a last-minute Kimura, like with about a minute left in the fight. He was trying to lock that in. There really was nothing to that hold, because basically Dos Santos rolled him over and trying to put him in a triangle, and then for the last minute of the fight, it seemed like they were on an alligator roll, just basically trying to lock in a submission on this. But Dos Santos went to the cards. There was no way in the world he was going to lose that, and now he is the new light heavyweight champion. If you go back to a few years ago in my hype up video when I was talking about Dos Santos, he really needed to get this victory. He has a loss to a Russian fighter whose name I won't even try to say, and now with the championship, he can pick a defender, and no doubt in my mind, he's going to want to go after that Russian fighter to prove that he was better than him. It is a loss that is, sort of haunted him throughout his last 4 fights now, and he's pretty much going to want to get that guy inside of the octagon, become a fighting champion, and prove that he is the best in his division. All right, we're back with UFC 185 results here coming to you as Johnny Hendricks beats Matt Brown by unanimous decision. Honestly, Johnny Hendricks owned this fight from, bell to bell of all 3 rounds. It seemed like Matt Brown was pinned to the mat or pinned to the cage, just pretty much laid down on the floor for the entire fight. I don't want to say this fight wasn't exciting. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to live up to. Of course, both of these guys in their division were both looking to take a huge step up. Johnny Hendricks moving to 17-3, and Matt Brown falling down. But I thought Matt Brown was going to be able to take this fight and be able to get something out of it. But Johnny, it wasn't that he was like bigger, or he just was stronger. He put him down into the floor, and just he just would overpower Matt Brown by just picking him up and slamming him. Matt Brown was looking for an escape. throughout the whole fight, but there was really nothing that he could do. In the first round, Johnny pinned him down on the floor and just repeatedly hit him with headbutts and elbows to the face, to where he came up, and he came up bloody, and really bloody, because we didn't see his face for so long. It was almost shocking to see him come up like this. But this is one of those hard, fought out grapple battles down on the floor. Both of the guys not really rolling around, because Johnny was in control of this fight the whole time. But he was able to pull out the win, and this is going to be really big for him moving on. Matt Brown, of course, is going to have to, learn to fight another day. And, he was really looking forward to this one. It sucks for his story that he wasn't able to pull this fight out. But Johnny Hendricks, he was the better fighter tonight. And so for this one, we'll move on to our main event. And then it is what it is. Johnny Hendricks hit this dude 49 times, as Matt Brown was able to land 32 strikes as well. Johnny Hendricks was 7 takedowns, so was in control of this fight for about 99% of it. It really had no time to Matt Brown even have a chance. Right off the bell, basically he was down onto the mat, and there was nowhere for him to go in this one. It just too overpowering by Johnny Hendricks to get the big win here at UFC 185. We'll move on to our Anthony Pettis dos Santos main event, and I don't know as of right now. I'm glad we bought the show. We're having a ton of fun watching it. The jury's still out. The main event's going to deliver, and we're going to get our money's worth, because when you're throwing down $60 to watch 4 fights, that's a lot, especially when one of the fights nobody knew who the other one were. Roy Nelson versus Alistair Overeem was the one fight that I cared the most about. So this main event, honestly, now that I'm talking about it, really, really better deliver. Really stand up to the plate and really knock it out of the park. $60 is a lot of money. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys watching this, hopefully. And we'll check you out the next video coming up after the main event in just a few minutes. Peace out, everybody. Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you here, watching UFC 185 at my grandma's house. Big surprise to see this Alistair Overeem versus Roy Nelson fight. Superiorly suck. That was a horrible fight, honestly, in my opinion. Neither one of these guys honestly wanted to make neither one of these guys wanted to make a mistake. I mean, you came out, I was looking for fireworks right off the bat. I was looking for some sort of a early round knockout from Overeem or Nelson, one of these guys throwing one of those big haymakers and just landed a lucky shot. But it seemed like these guys just wanted to dance around all night long. I mean, Overeem did land some punches on Nelson. Nelson used his weight advantage, putting Overeem up against the cage for a while. But honestly, in my opinion, this was a very, very boring fight. Overeem gets the win via decision. We didn't get a knockout. We saw Nelson knock down Overeem at the end of the third. He wasn't able to follow up on the knockdown, so it didn't really help him all that much inside of the decision on the cards. But very, very bad fight. Very, very bad fight. Honestly, in my opinion, one of the fights that I was really paying money to see this tonight, and it didn't live up to its potential. Honestly, in my opinion, Alistair Overeem is going to be able to take this win against Roy Nelson, and he should be able to put it up to UFC. And Brock Lesnar makes the jump, and trying to get that fight away from Frank Mir. A lot of people are saying that Lesnar versus Mir is sort of the guaranteed fight that Lesnar will come back to UFC with. But Overeem is the guy that's been calling Brock out. Overeem is the guy that beat Brock, that sent him in to retirement. Definitely, Alistair Overeem, wants that big fight against Brock, because definitely Brock coming back to the UFC, it's definitely a guaranteed main event. Brock will be a headliner. He's a returning legend to the sport, so people will be buying it. It's definitely a good money grab for Overeem to go after. So this is a big win for Alistair Overeem. Roy Nelson, I believe, this is like 3 losses out of his last 6, I believe. He does have an appeal, because he doesn't look like a UFC fighter. He sort of reminds me of Kevin James in the UFC movie that came out. Just sort of a guy that can hit really, really good, and he can take a lot of punishment and not go down. But honestly, tonight it sort of showed he's a lot like Butterbean. Butterbean coming in there at WrestleMania 15, going up there against Bart Gunn, knocking Bart Gunn out in about 30 seconds, and everybody just looking at it like, we sat through Tough Enough for that. But that's really what it was. And tonight we're gonna see a few more fights. You got Pettis, dos Santos, and definitely this is a card that it could live up to the hype. But that's the first fight that sort of let me down. $60 here on the line. See if I get my money's worth. Peace out, everybody.